All right, day 78. It's nice to have something that feels bread and butter to do at a time when like literally California is on fire and 30 whatever 6 days until the election. So we're here this week. We're going to talk about questions that are relevant to the investor slash entrepreneur relationship and different aspects of it. Not just the relationship, but being an investor, being an entrepreneur. And today's question, and Min, if you can kick us off, is how do I know if my investor is actually any good? They're on the receiving end of this question a lot.
It's true. This is kind of a meta question. I mean, like founders ask us all the time, like, why should we pick you, right? And I think one way to think about it is that's another way of asking, like, how do we know you're good? And I think there's a reason why our team focuses on founder NPS as like our North Star, that we are doing our jobs well.
Yes.
Founder VD, our customer satisfaction score for founders who we see as our customers. And for founders, like, your investors can tell you lots of things, but the best way to find out is to reference. Like, they're going to be doing references on you, and you'll be spending the better part of, many, many years potentially with them, working alongside them. And so ask other founders who have worked with those people what they think and what they've been able to offer. What else would you add?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think most founders under reference check VCs, and it's something I've written about before, because they think it's like a hiring process, and they do what I call the relief reference, which is they're so happy to get an offer from somebody or think they might have an offer from somebody in a lot of cases that they're just looking for somebody they know to vouch. Somebody they know or somebody who's a friend of a friend to say, like, this person is not an axe murderer, and then they feel relief and they go for it. And that's not the right way to think about it, because in a hiring situation, you could fire the person. In an investor situation, they're on your cap table forever. And investors, the other thing I'd say is, while it's really important as a founder to know yourself, because no investor is generically good for everybody, they're good for you based on the support you want, like what you need from an investor. I have a good friend who's a growth stage investor, and he says, my value add is I won't call you. And for certain founders, that's amazing. Like, they don't want somebody else in their business. And, we struggle with that question about, like, are you hands-on? Because, like, sometimes that's code for, like, am I bothering you every day, which we don't do. And sometimes it's code for, are you willing to help, which we do. And so know yourself, but don't trust your instincts. And what I mean by that is a lot of founders are like, yeah, I've met with him 4 times and he just seems great. And what they're discounting there is investors sell this commodity product called money. They're great at differentiating themselves through their reputation. They're amazing at manipulating first impressions, not every single one, but a lot of times. And so don't trust your gut, because they're better at playing the gut game than you are. And instead, cast your net really wide, figure out what you want from the investor, and make sure you are mind sweeping, not looking for relief. Like, you're looking for the case where they behave badly. And so backdoor references, yeah, ask them for references, but look for the ones that went poorly, not the ones that went well. Both the ones where the business went poorly, but ones where the relationship went poorly too, which we all have them. So that's my, like, how I would know.
Yeah, and the founder community is, tight, right? And so I think there are also every so often these resources that pop up. I think the famous one is probably, or like YC's Bookface, which is like an internal database and reviews of many investors who've worked with founders all throughout YC. So use them. Take them
with a grain of salt, like Glassdoor. Yeah. Read them all and take them all with varying grains of salt. I definitely think that's really valid. And the other thing I'd say is, if you are in the process of getting close with an investor, ramp up your diligence accordingly. Like, don't wait till the end. As you're getting closer, start making calls. And then at the end, you can talk to 15 people or something like that. But practically speaking, that's how I would hope that people would manage it. And on NPS, just to close on that with a wish, this is something I wish somebody would build, because NPS is too forgiving. We have a very high NPS score. My guess is lots of investors do too. And what do we do about that? We look for less forgiving scores. And so in chess, there's this thing called an ELO ranking, which is a way of comparing people, and that's how people get rated. And what it does is it compares players when they play each other What I would like is an ELO ranking for VCs, where only founders who have been backed by 2 VCs or any VCs can say, between these 2, I preferred this one. And they might both be really great, but I preferred them. And then if you aggregate enough of those, you might end up with like, what I really want is the true founder's choice VCs. Because every other system I've seen for it is like, yeah, I mounted a campaign where I got a bunch of founders to email TechCrunch for me. Nah, it's fine. It's better than nothing, but it's not that good. So somebody please build that, and then we can set this question to rest.
That might be our first request for startup from This Is Not
Here
Advice.
we go. We did it. All right. So
we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, back tomorrow for This Is Not Advice, and answering a question every day, your questions about work. So let us know. And we will try not to tell you how to live your life. We'll just give our answers about what we think about ours.
Awesome.
Thank you, Nick. I love
Talk
when
to you tomorrow.